Glad everybody's here. Glad a lot of you stayed. Just really quickly, I feel like I know we met a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew, Nick Poole, Lauren Wilson,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Isla and Blair,
Yes.
yours, right? And what was your name?
Nate Hughes. My daughter's Emerson.
Emerson. Okay, gotcha. Is she? What trip is she going on? Snowbird.
Oh,
Right across the way.
It's 102.
Yeah.
I think it was flipped on the.
Was it flipped on
On
the
the
sheet?
Instagram.
B102. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
right, just right across. Right there.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
No problem.
And I already know everyone else. Okay, so this is our second year to do this, which is super exciting. When was it? 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went down to Fayetteville, met with George. George Lockhart is the pastor of New Vision Church. He's a great friend of mine, and we just kind of drove around to a couple of different ministries that we're going to be working with. The primary ministry that we're going to be working with is called Envision Atlanta. Their primary goal is to minister and reach out to refugees. They have a couple of different facilities. One is in Clarkston, where they actually have some housing available for refugees. The other facility, and the one that we'll be more serving at, is a farm. It's called Envision Acres Farm. And Matt and his wife live there, run the farm. They raise animals, crops, all different kind of stuff like that, to then harvest to provide food for these refugees. And so there's a lot that goes on there. There's a lot that that happens there on the farm on a day-to-day basis. And so this year we will be going and just kind of helping out how we best can help them. We've talked about potentially a couple of different projects that they might need that we would help work on. Last year we painted a barn, and mucked stalls, and we're for sure when we get there, that will be like prime harvesting season for a lot of their vegetables and stuff and things. And last year we picked a good bit of food and then bagged that up, and then they were taking that to a family that evening for dinner. And so it's just a very practical, direct, hands-on way that we're serving and providing for people who are in need. We'll be there from on Monday and Tuesday, and the window that we generally serve with them is from 10 to 3. With Sunday being Father's Day, we're not going to leave on Sunday this year, so we're going to leave Monday. But the way we had to kind of shift our schedule, and since we're going to be at this farm on Monday, we're going to need to leave early on Monday morning. So I think what I'm thinking right now is that we meet here at the church around 6:30 and shoot to leave by 7. And I talked with Matt about maybe shifting our time at the farm from rather it being 10 to 3 being maybe like an 11 to 4, and give us a little bit of a window, especially if we hit traffic. Usually right around Gwinnett Place Mall, it's pretty terrible. So I've even looked at maybe taking some back road routes too. But at any rate, we want to get there, get checked in here, ready to roll and leave, so that we are down there in plenty of time to serve at the farm. So we'll be there Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday we'll be serving at a place called the Real Life Center. The Real Life Center is in conjunction with a local church there, and I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but they are a food pantry who also has an orchard. And so they provide not just canned, dried goods, but they also provide like fresh fruits and stuff like that, stuff that is more disposable. And so what we'll primarily be doing, particularly in this season, apparently it's a lot slower for their pantry, but for their orchard, that's prime picking season. And so we'll be there in the morning picking blueberries and maybe a couple of other things. We'll be there for a couple of hours. And then in the afternoon, there is a retirement facility that we served at last year. Previously it was called the Oaks. It's now called, I something with an H. I can't remember. And they just found out the name changed the other day. But at any rate, the Reserve, something, can't remember. Anyway, but it's a retirement facility, and really the opportunity there has been really cool. It's a place that the church that's hosting us has an established relationship with and has done lots of things over the years with. But having the opportunity to go, have some conversations with some of the residents there, providing, sometimes we do Bible studies, sometimes we just hang out with them and, do some coloring or some puzzles. They love bingo, but just, to be honest, it's a sadder situation because a lot of these residents don't have a lot of family that comes and visits very often. So anytime somebody can come in is just a refreshment, and especially when we bring in teenagers, it's just kind of revitalizing, and especially when we come with the gospel and kind of sharing some things, it's just a really cool thing. But it can be challenging too, because I know there's some people that we talked with and we're connecting with last year that have passed away since we've been there, and so it's a cool relationship that they've been able to establish with the church, but then it's a tough ministry as well. But that we'll kind of do in the afternoons on Wednesday, and then also I think potentially on Thursday. Thursday morning, we're going to be at Midwest Food Bank, which Midwest is like a supplier to the Real Life Center, where the Real Life Center is kind of the ones that distributes the foods directly to the people. Midwest Food Bank is nationwide, I believe, but the one there in Atlanta is actually in the Fayetteville area, and they're a large collection center. And so we'll go, they're going to share with us their mission and vision and why they do. They're a Christian-based organization as well, which is why we want to go and serve with them. But they will share with us like the heart and vision behind what they do, and then we'll spend about an hour and a half doing some sorting and just helping them out however we can, and then we'll get a tour of the rest of the facilities and kind of wrap things up. After that, there's another facility called the Clothes Less Traveled. It's another organization that New Vision has an established relationship with, and it's kind of like Miracle Hill, very similar organization. And so we do same kind of thing, help with collections and assortments and that kind of thing there. So those are the ministries that we will be working with, and like I said, Envision is kind of like one of our big focuses, but then some of these other ministries are kind of ones that we have some connection with in relationship, and we're trying to build on that as well, and just serving people there. We'll also, there is another church that New Vision is starting to build a relationship with and build a partnership with. And so we're talking about doing a youth service on Wednesday night where they kind of bring in their worship team. And so kind of as we bring our team and then the youth from New Vision, and I'm thinking maybe some from this other church too, kind of coming together, trying to help foster that relationship and build it up. So it's just another way that we can help serve that local church there. And then as we are doing some of our activities too, we're going to try and get some of their students from New Vision to come and join us in some of those activities. Some of them, they won't be able to because of capacity sake, but for the most part, we're trying to help push that. The youth in particular at New Vision, a lot of them come from really tough family situations. And so some of them can be a little rougher around the edges, but George, he's a senior pastor, but he has pretty much his entire life been more student ministry focused and student missions focused. And that's why I had him come and do this leadership training for our missions team, because that's his bread and butter, and he does a very, very good job with that kind of stuff. And so he's always thinking missionally, always thinking who are the people that are neglected, who are the people that everybody else just kind of doesn't give as much attention to. And so that's who he really draws a lot of his energy towards. And so with that same vision and passion, that's where some of their students are kind of coming from me. So we'll try to engage and interact with them as much as we can. And then that'll kind of wrap up our week. And then Friday, we'll just kind of relax and kind of celebrate what we've been able to do. And we'll take our group to Six Flags, and some of their team will come to. I don't know how many, but yeah, we'll finish on Friday and then get up Saturday morning and head back. So that's kind of a general overview of the week. As far as any kind of logistical things, like for summer camp, we had some forms that you needed to fill out. For us, if you haven't filled out a medical release form, then we'll need to get one filled out, and I'll double check that everybody got their forms filled out. If your student came to Deeper Weekend, then that should have been filled out at that point, and those forms are good for an entire year. Or if they came with us to Winter Retreat or any of our other off-campus major events, those forms should be completed for that. And if not, I'll have Gabby, like I said, double check and make sure everybody's forms are filled out, and we'll get those taken care of. There might be a form that Midwest needs us to fill out, and if that is the case, I'll make sure I send that out to you guys, and we'll just collect those on Monday before we leave. For some reason, I remember seeing something like that, but she hasn't explicitly said that we need to, so I'm going to double check with her, and Elaine is the contact there at Midwest, just make sure that that's not something that we need to have for their protocols and safety regulations. Mary Beth is going to be going. It's going to be me and Mary Beth. As of right now, we're planning on taking the Transit and then our Forerunner. We may have to make a change on that just because of capacity. And we may take a second church vehicle. It makes it a little trickier because when we have her car, it can be easy to just run quick errands or something like that. But we'll see. That's kind of the plan for now. My request specifically for traveling, and not just getting all of our luggage down there, but also the space that we're staying in isn't ultra big, is for you to pack light. So we've got 4 days that we'll be serving, and then Six Flags, and then of course, change of clothes to come home in. But pack as minimally as possible, just appropriate. Obviously, there'll be some days where maybe you need a different change for this or that. Serving at Envision Acres, we will need to wear pants and closed-toed shoes. Everywhere else, there aren't any particular specifics on what you wear. For Six Flags, there are water rides. I generally suggest wearing something that's just a little more water repellent, but you guys have been to theme parks, kind of what to wear there. But I would not wear flip-flops to Six Flags just because those fly off, and it happens, and I would just wear shoes, or at least some kind of strapped sandal. But especially for our girls, if we can, pack light. So where we'll be staying, George is single, and he has a fairly decent sized house. We stayed at his house last year, and he stayed offsite somewhere else, so we just kind of took over his home, which is super generous of him, but that's the kind of guy he is. And so our girls stayed upstairs and our guys stayed downstairs. There's 3 different bedrooms, and then we took several different air mattresses, and there's some couches, and so the girls just kind of dispersed there. Downstairs, kind of a similar situation. There's several different beds, couches, and stuff, and we just kind of spread out. As far as bedding is concerned, you don't have to bring really too much. If you want to bring a pillow, that's great. I'll have air mattresses and stuff, so they don't have to bring anything like that. If they have like a particular blanket that they want to have or something like that, that's fine. But just trying to keep things at a minimum in terms of space, because if there's a ton of huge suitcases or somebody brings a couple of different suitcases, there's just not a lot of room once you get 8-9 girls in a floor space. It's just not a lot of space. So if we can keep that at a minimum, that would be great. And that'll help us get everything down there without having to really look at other options as far as transporting luggage and stuff. I don't think we had a problem last year in transporting everything between the Transit and the 4Runner, but we have a few more coming this year. So just things to be thinking about. Any other packing specifics? Maybe some sunscreen, just because we'll be outside a fair amount. Particularly those first 2.5 days being at the farms and then picking at the orchard. We'll be out in the sun, and we'll be at the farms will be the bulk of the day. The orchard will just be kind of in the morning, but especially if your kiddo is more susceptible to sunburns and stuff, then I would say anybody, but just be aware of that. Other packing needs.
Do I understand correctly? So like even sheets, we wouldn't need to bring sheets?
I will make sure we have sheets and everything for all of our, obviously the beds, we'll already have sheets.
Okay.
Any of the air mattresses, I'll bring sheets for. And then, maybe a pillow, and if they, have a particular blanket, but the sheets and the bedding, most of that should be taken care of. Any other questions about packing or travel or anything like that?
Do you already have like one of those car topper things you can put luggage in? 'Cause
I
we've been doing it for
don't.
trips. I wanna use it.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely keep that in mind. I haven't used one of those since I was a kid. We had a we had a tortoise shell on top of our '97 Plymouth Voyager as we were going to Florida.
Awesome.
Yes, that would be helpful. Thank you for offering.
So like over-the-counter allergy medicine and stuff like that.
So we'll be self-contained. So there's not like an organization so it'll be just kind of between Mary Beth and myself. And as far as any kind of medication, definitely let us know, especially if it's something that we need to remind them, hey, you need to take this. But that is part of our medical release form, letting us know what medication they are allowed to take. If they're allergic to aspirin or something like that, then we need to know what they're allowed to take for minor things, and if they have regular medication that they need to be on, when and how often, all that kind of stuff should be on that form. But they will generally just manage that on their own, and we'll kind of help ensure that they are taking their medicines, but we won't have like a trip nurse or something that's specifically distributing that. Any other questions about that?
How many people are going?
Including Mary Beth and myself, currently we have 19, potentially 20.
Nice.
I got an email last night, the night before, about one other that potentially might be going, so.
Like meals and such. How's
Mhm.
that all?
Yeah, so breakfast, we'll just have just kind of general little breakfast type stuff, and we'll make sure everybody has something that is something that they would normally eat and enjoy in the morning, something light. The 2 days that we're at the farms, they are providing lunch for us. I think the first day is chicken shawarma. And the second day, I cannot remember what the name of it is, but it's it can be spicier, but they get like a wide range of like, hey, this is really not spicy at all, but here's like some really spicy stuff that you can try. But it's just culturally, I can't remember primarily where the refugees are from, but it's something that correlates with kind of like what they would
Same thing
typically.
as last year.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. I ate the spicy.
Do you remember what it was called?
No, I don't.
Spicy
I
is
wanted
always
to know,
good.
but
Yeah,
it was spicy.
there was one of our boys was going at it with the really spicy stuff. And I was like, brother, you better be careful. But I told Matt, I said, hey, can we do that the second day, just in case? Rather than that be what hits their stomach right off the bat. But yeah, so depending on the day, sometimes the ministries that we're serving at will help provide. Sometimes it's just us kind of getting whatever we need. One night, I think Tuesday night, a family's going to host us and provide dinner for us. So it's just kind of a mixed bag as far as what our dinner plan is.
Do they need to come with any cash?
There's not, so for Six Flags, our ticket will cover obviously entry, one meal, a drink, and a snack. And we'll be there till kind of, I think last year we left around 6:30 or so. And those meal tickets, by and large, from what I saw and remember, kind of covered everybody. But if they want to get anything extra or anything, that's kind of the one time where I see maybe them spending some money. Other than that, there's not. I think last year we had a window of time available to kind of kill, and we went down to Trellis, I think is what it's called. It's the almost village where the movie studios have kind of popped up, and it's kind of a cool, neat place. But even there, I don't think anybody really bought anything. But that was kind of the only time we were out and about doing stuff like that. So the only time, like I say, I think is probably Six Flags if they want something a little bit extra. But they'll have a meal, a drink, and a snack that's covered by their ticket. So, any other questions of that nature? Let's see. I can pull up. I have our meal, roughly our meal plan laid out. Let's see. I think we're having burgers and hot dogs one night. The night that we eat at the family that's hosting us, she's usually very good. She's Italian, makes incredible food.
It was great.
Yes, but she's always very aware of allergies and stuff. I think we're having, since we're doing that youth service deal on Wednesday, I think we're just ordering pizza for everybody, and then we'll probably have a team dinner somewhere on Thursday night.
Are we doing that like workout class thing or no?
I don't think so. Any other questions? Well, I'm super excited for everybody that's going. I think it's going to be a really awesome trip. I love that it's growing, and that we even had a couple of our current 9th graders that were like, I want to come back, and just had a really good good experience last year. But it's just a really growing opportunity for our middle schoolers to kind of have the first taste of serving, and even serving in areas that are not culturally the same. And I would even say the church that's hosting us just culturally is very different from North Hills. Just a lot of just from the nature of kind of how George pastors the church and reaches out. There's just a lot of people that come that might not go to any other church, just from maybe they're awkward, or maybe they just don't seem to be the person that fits in, or whatever it is. It's just really challenging people to step outside their comfort zone and serve in the best capacity possible. And so that's kind of the heart and vision of the trip, to challenge our students to step out and serve. And so just to be students who live out the gospel. So that's what we want to do with this, and that's what I'm hoping is just an impactful and maybe even life-altering trip, just to kind of open their eyes to something new and something different. So really thankful that you allow your kids to come with us and entrust us with them, and so I'm excited to see what the Lord does this summer. So if you have any other questions, or if there's anything else maybe we need to address specifically, then just let me know, or Gabby, and we can definitely kind of work through some details. I appreciate that offer as well, and I'll kind of keep in mind what we need, and yeah, that may very well be a very helpful thing as far as traveling. But yeah, I think Saturday morning we should leave. Not super early, but after breakfast sometime, and be back here around noon is the goal. So
How long is it? How long is the drive?
it's about 3 hours. Yeah, it's just south of Atlanta. So
Give or take 2 hours.
yeah. Well, and last year we left Saturday morning, and I was like, I'm just gonna go 75 or 85 the whole way. Because Saturday morning, and we got stuck downtown. Yeah.
Give or take
So
2 hours.
yeah, it is. It is. It's a crapshoot. So we don't have a Peach Pass on our church vehicles, but I've got one on my car, so we could get a few home faster. But yeah, so that's kind of the goal, and of course we'll be in communication just as far as updates and travel and that kind of thing. If you ever need to get a hold of us. If you don't have my phone number, I can give you my phone number. I can also give you Mary Beth's phone number too. Just she will also be a helpful one. Mary Beth's phone number is 214-707-7708.
Do y'all move from Texas?
She's born and raised in Dallas.
Well, since my family's all from Dallas, and my brother's phones were starting to come up. 'Cause it's
2 and 4. Yeah.
Wasn't it her birthday 2 days ago?
Her birthday was Thursday. Yeah.
You said Mary Beth.
Mary Beth, Maribeth.
2 or 3 days ago. Can't count very well.
Frank, you
And
got pointers?
just in case you don't have my number,
Oh,
979.
my favorite.
820-1393.
What's your area code again?
979. Have anybody pop up on 979?
Nope.
Mm.
Where are you from?
Well, that's a Bryan College Station number.
Okay.
But I'm from Atlanta, but I worked for Best Buy for a long time when their cell phone department was separate. And so when I was selling phones out of college, I just switched my number. I feel like it was more of a thing then.
Yeah.
Now it's like, why ever switch your number? People were asking, it's like, you moved to South Carolina, you get a South Carolina number? I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
Still works.
yeah. So, and half the people here that I have phone numbers for don't have 864 anyway, so. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys. Really excited. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out. I did share this with our team 2 Saturdays ago, whenever it was we met. On May 17th, which is 2 Sundays from now, we're going to meet together before a live. I believe I said at 4. So just an hour early before a live so we can get together and kind of reconnect, make sure we're kind of on the same page and just think through a couple of things. And then Saturday before we leave, which would be the 20th? Yes, that is correct. Saturday is 2 days before Monday. Yes, on the 20th, we'll have like a pre-trip dinner at my house. And then, we can talk through packing, like if there particular weather that maybe we're facing or, just some last minute details. So that'll be from 6 to 8 at my house. And I can give you our address too real quick. June 20th. Saturday, June 20th from 6 to 8. And we're 300 Tanner Road. And that's Taylor's.
And is that for just the kids or parents?
Parents too, yeah. And I'll send out reminders and stuff like that so we can get a head count close to who's coming and that kind of thing. And then, yeah, so we'll be ready for the trip and ready to roll. So, any questions? Good, cool.
What's your meal plan
For Saturday night?
yeah.
I don't know.
So we can bring,
Oh yeah, we can contribute. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good question. I haven't thought through that yet.
Ooh, I want the cookies.
We will. I'll send out a reminder and kind of say, this is what we're thinking about having, and if you want to bring something, then that would be awesome. That would be great. All right. Yeah. Well, if there's no more questions, then I'll pray for us and close. God, I thank you for each of these parents. I thank you for each student that you have coming on this trip. And God, I pray that even as we were preparing the other week, that you would change our mindsets and change our hearts to think more missionally and more like you. And God, that we would live out your gospel as we go on this trip. But God, that wouldn't be something that we are doing exclusively or only for this trip, but that would be something that changes our mindset on how we live from a day-to-day basis, and that would translate over into our life at school, at home, with our parents, with our kids, in every area of our life. I pray that we live to honor and glorify you to the best of our ability and shine your light in delivering the message of your gospel. And so, God, I thank you for each kid that's coming on this trip, and I pray that you would just go before us and prepare the hearts of those that we're going to. God, I pray that you would open up opportunities for us to do whatever you have for us to do, and so that we would be obedient to say yes and be willing to step into the uncomfortable and reach those who have not been reached before. So we thank you for an opportunity to serve you like this, and we pray that it glorifies you and brings glory to your name. For it's your name we pray. Amen. All right.
Thank you. What are your pointers?